Welcome to Bone Spears and Starships. We are proud to present Neon Shadows. Jack Malone sat in his beat-up car, the rain drumming a steady rhythm on the roof. Neon signs flickered overhead, their vibrant hues reflected in the puddles that dotted the slick alleyway. He took a long swig from a bottle of something strong, the liquid burning a familiar path down his throat. His cybernetic eye whirred softly, adjusting to the low light and scanning the area for any signs of trouble. The sudden buzz of an incoming holographic call interrupted his solitude. With a grunt, Jack leaned forward and tapped a button on the dashboard. The flickering image of a nervous-looking woman materialized in the passenger seat. Her blonde hair was impeccably styled, her makeup flawless, but the worry etched on her face was unmistakable. "Mr. Malone," she began, her voice trembling. "My name is Ms. Kensington. I need your help." Jack raised an eyebrow, taking another swig from his bottle before setting it down. "What kind of help are we talking about, Ms. Kensington?" "It's my husband," she said, her eyes darting around as if she expected someone to jump out of the shadows. "He's missing. Oliver Kensington, the CEO of Kensington Tech. He vanished without a trace 3 days ago. The police won't help. They think he just ran off. But I know something's wrong." Jack leaned back, his cybernetic eye focusing on her face. "Why come to me?"
Imno kopaň mura.
"Because," she said, her voice gaining a desperate edge, "everyone knows you're the best. You have a certain reputation." Jack snorted. "Yeah, a reputation for getting mixed up in things I shouldn't. But go on." She glanced over her shoulder, as if someone might be listening in on the call. Oliver had been working on something big, something secret. He wouldn't tell me much, but he was scared, Jack. I've never seen him like that. And then, he just disappeared. Jack's mind raced. Kensington Tech was one of the most influential companies in the city, and if their CEO was truly missing, it could mean trouble on a scale he didn't even want to think about. "All right, Ms. Kensington, I'll take a look. But it's gonna cost you." "Money is no object," she said quickly. "Just find him, please." Jack nodded. "Send me everything you've got on him. Contacts, last known whereabouts, any enemies he might have made." "Thank you," she whispered, the relief evident in her voice. "I'll send it over right away." The holographic call flickered off, leaving Jack alone in the dim light of the alley. He sighed, reaching for his bottle again. "Here we go," he muttered to himself, taking one last drink before starting the car. The engine roared to life, and Jack Malone pulled out of the alley, the neon lights of the city blurring into streaks of color as he drove into the night. Jack Malone and Lily Sparks stepped into the opulent penthouse apartment, the luxurious surroundings a stark contrast to the grimy streets they had just left behind. The place screamed wealth and power, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a breathtaking view of the cityscape and sleek, modern furnishings arranged with meticulous precision. "Nice place," Lily remarked, her eyes scanning the room with a mix of admiration and disdain. "A bit too clean for my taste, though." Jack grunted in agreement. "Let's get to work." Lily nodded and set to work on the home security system, her fingers flying over the virtual keyboard projected from her wrist device. She was a whip-smart hacker with a penchant for leather and chrome, her outfit a reflection of her personality, edgy and unyielding. Her eyes, sharp and focused, never missed a detail. "Security's tight," she muttered, more to herself than to Jack. "But nothing I can't handle." Jack, meanwhile, activated his enhanced vision, scanning the room for anything out of the ordinary. His cybernetic eye whirred and clicked as it zoomed in on various objects, highlighting potential clues in a soft, blue glow. "Find anything?" Lily asked, still engrossed in the security system. "No signs of forced entry," Jack replied, his voice low and measured. "But something feels off." He continued his sweep, his eye catching a faint seam in the wall behind a bookshelf. With a frown, he moved closer, his fingers tracing the outline of what seemed to be a hidden compartment. A soft click echoed in the room as he pressed a concealed button, and a panel slid open to reveal a small, metallic box. "Got something," Jack called out, carefully removing the box and setting it on a nearby table. Lily joined him, her interest piqued. "What's inside?" Jack opened the box to reveal a microchip, a skull and crossbones etched onto its surface. He picked it up, examining it closely. This isn't your typical tech. Lily's eyes widened as she recognized the symbol. That's a death mark. A warning. Whoever left this wanted to make sure it wasn't ignored. Jack's jaw tightened. Any idea who it could be from? Could be any number of people, Lily said, tapping a few commands into her device to analyze the chip. But whoever it is, they're not messing around. This chip could contain anything: information, a virus, a tracker. Jack's mind raced, connecting dots and forming theories. Ms. Kensington said Oliver was working on something big and secret. This might be a piece of that puzzle. Lily nodded. Let's see what we're dealing with. She plugged the microchip into her device, her screen lighting up with streams of data. As she worked, Jack kept a watchful eye on their surroundings, his instincts honed from years on the force telling him that danger could be lurking just around the corner. The data on Lily's screen coalesced into a coherent message. It's a set of coordinates, she said, her brow furrowing, and a time of 3 a.m. Tonight. Jack's eyes narrowed. Looks like we've got a rendezvous. Lily glanced at him, her expression determined. You ready for this? Jack nodded, slipping the microchip into his pocket. Always. They left the penthouse with a newfound sense of urgency, the mystery of Oliver Kensington's disappearance growing deeper with every step they took. The seedy underground bar was a stark departure from the opulence of the penthouse. Dimly lit and filled with the acrid scent of cheap synthale and the murmur of illicit deals, it was a haven for black market dealers and those who operated on the fringes of society. Jack and Lily entered, their disguises blending seamlessly with the lowlifes that populated the bar. Jack had traded his usual attire for a worn leather jacket and a cap pulled low over his cybernetic eye, while Lily sported a grungy ensemble that accentuated her already tough demeanor. Together, they looked the part of desperate scavengers, which was exactly what they needed. They approached a corner booth where their contact, known only as the Rat, was nursing a drink. The Rat was a wiry man with darting eyes and a permanent look of suspicion etched onto his face. He glanced up as they approached, his eyes narrowing. "Who's asking?" he said, his voice a harsh whisper. "Friends of Oliver Kensington," Jack replied, sliding into the booth opposite the Rat. Lily remained standing, her presence a silent threat. The Rat's eyes widened slightly. "What do you want with me?" Jack leaned forward, his voice low and steady. "Information. We're looking for someone who uses this symbol." He pulled out a small hollow projector and activated it, displaying the skull and crossbones etched onto the microchip. The Rat's face paled. "That symbol. It's bad news." Jack slid a handful of credits across the table. "Tell us what you know." The Rat hesitated, his eyes flicking to the credits before he snatched them up. "All right, but you didn't hear this from me. That symbol belongs to the ghost." Lily's eyes narrowed. "Who's the ghost?" The Rat glanced around nervously before continuing. "The ghost is a notorious cybernetic surgeon. Works in the shadows. No one knows his real name or what he looks like. He can alter your entire identity, make you disappear. But he doesn't work for just anyone. He's got his own agenda." Jack's mind raced. "And what does he want with Kensington?" The Rat shrugged, his expression wary.
No idea.
"But if the ghost is involved, it's something big. You don't cross paths with him unless you're deep in the underbelly of something nasty." Lily leaned in, her voice a dangerous whisper. "Where can we find him?" The Rat swallowed hard. "Last I heard, he was operating out of an old warehouse in the industrial district. But be careful. That place is crawling with all sorts of unsavory types. It's a death trap for anyone who goes poking around." Jack nodded, standing up. "Thanks for the tip. Keep your head down, Rat." The Rat nodded, pocketing the credits as he watched them leave. "You too, and good luck. You're gonna need it." As Jack and Lily exited the bar, the weight of their new lead pressed heavily on their shoulders. The ghost was a formidable opponent, and if they were to find Oliver Kensington, they'd need to tread carefully. "Industrial district, huh?" Lily said, her tone grim. "Sounds like our kind of place." Jack nodded, his jaw set in determination. "Let's get moving. We've got a ghost to catch." The rain had started again, a steady drizzle that mirrored the grim atmosphere of their quest. Together, they headed into the night, the neon lights of the city casting long shadows on the path ahead. The dilapidated warehouse loomed ahead, its rusted exterior barely discernible through the thick fog that clung to the industrial district. Jack and Lily approached with caution, their disguises as patients seeking cybernetic enhancements, blending them into the grim reality of the ghost domain. Inside, the warehouse had been transformed into a makeshift surgery. Flickering fluorescent lights cast an eerie glow over the makeshift operating tables and an array of grotesque tools and machinery. The air was thick with the smell of antiseptic and something far more sinister. They joined a small group of individuals waiting their turn, all of them displaying varying degrees of desperation. Jack's enhanced vision scanned the room, noting the surveillance cameras and armed guards patrolling the perimeter. Lily stayed close, her eyes darting around, absorbing every detail. The sound of muffled screams drew their attention to the far end of the room. Behind a set of grimy curtains, they could see the silhouette of a figure restrained to an operating table. As they edged closer, the curtain was drawn back, revealing a chilling scene. A wealthy client, their designer clothes now torn and stained with blood, was strapped down. A hulking figure in a blood-spattered apron, presumably the ghost, was operating on them with brutal efficiency. The client's eyes were wide with terror, their pleas for mercy drowned out by the whirring of surgical saws and the hiss of mechanical implants being forced into place. Lily's face paled as she watched. "This is insane," she whispered, barely able to contain her horror. Jack squeezed her shoulder, a silent reminder to stay focused. "We need to find something useful." As they moved to a quieter corner, Lily pulled out her hacking device, concealed within the gauntlet of her outfit. She tapped into the warehouse's network, her fingers dancing over the interface as she bypassed layers of security. "I'm in," she murmured, accessing the hidden data stream now. The screen displayed a torrent of encrypted files, which Lily quickly decrypted. Her eyes widened as she uncovered a list of names. Dozens, maybe hundreds, each tagged with a sinister code and marked as disappeared. "These people, they're all gone," she said, her voice shaking. "And it looks like the ghost is behind it. This list, it's a hit list. He's been making people vanish, altering them beyond recognition or worse." Jack's jaw tightened. "We need to get this information out of here and expose him." Suddenly, an alarm blared, and the room plunged into chaos. The guards sprang into action, weapons drawn. As the ghost looked up from his macabre work, his eyes narrowing. "We've been made," Jack growled. "Time to go." They bolted for the exit, dodging guards and weaving through the panicked crowd. Lily clutched her device tightly, the damning evidence now in their possession. They burst through a side door, emerging into the cold night air, the rain washing away the grime of the warehouse. Jack pulled Lily into a dark alley, catching their breath as the alarm faded into the distance. "We need to get this to someone who can use it," he said. "Someone who can take the ghost down." Lily nodded, her resolve hardening. "We will. But first, we need to make sure we're not followed." Jack's cybernetic eye scanned the surroundings one last time before they slipped into the shadows, the chilling reality of the ghost's operations burning in their minds. The hunt for Oliver Kensington had taken a dark turn, and they were now more determined than ever to uncover the truth and bring the mastermind to justice. Jack and Lily made their way to Lily's hacker den, a dimly lit sanctuary nestled in the heart of the city's labyrinthine underbelly. The room was a symphony of blinking monitors, swirling code, and the soft hum of high-powered servers. Here, in this chaotic yet controlled environment, Lily felt at home. She quickly plugged her device into the main terminal, the screens around them coming to life with streams of encrypted data. Jack stood behind her, his eyes scanning the room, ever vigilant. "All right," Lily muttered, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "Let's see what this code is hiding." The data from the warehouse flowed across the monitors, an intricate web of connections and hidden messages. Lily's brow furrowed as she dove deeper into the layers of encryption, her mind racing to unravel the mystery. "Got it," she said finally, her voice tinged with a mix of triumph and apprehension. "The code isn't just a list of names. It's a location, but not in the real world. Jack leaned closer, his interest piqued. What do you mean? It's within the neoscape, Lily explained, her eyes reflecting the glow of the monitors. The city's sprawling virtual reality network. It's where the wealthy elites go to indulge in, well, let's just say dark pleasures and experimentation. Things they can't get away with in the real world. Jack's jaw tightened. So, the ghost is operating in the neoscape too. Makes sense. It's the perfect place to hide and conduct his twisted experiments. Lily nodded. Exactly. And if these coordinates are correct, there's a specific location in the neoscape where he's been taking his victims. She brought up a detailed map of the neoscape, the digital landscape sprawling out before them. Pinpointing the coordinates, she highlighted a dark, ominous area on the map. Here. This is where we need to go. Jack studied the map, his cybernetic eye analyzing the details. Looks like a fortress. How do we get in? Lily smirked, a glint of determination in her eyes. Leave that to me. We'll need to jack into the neoscape and navigate through its layers without drawing too much attention. It's risky, but it's our best shot at finding Oliver and stopping the ghost. Jack nodded, his resolve firm. Then let's gear up. We're diving in. They spent the next hour preparing, donning specialized VR suits and ensuring their neural interfaces were secure. The tension in the room was palpable, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. As they finished their preparations, Lily glanced at Jack, her expression serious. Ready? Jack took a deep breath, his eyes meeting hers. Ready. With a final nod, they jacked into the neoscape, their consciousnesses merging with the digital realm. The transition was seamless, the real world fading away as they found themselves standing in the heart of the neoscape, a vast and complex virtual city that mirrored the real world but with a darker, more surreal edge. Welcome to the neoscape, Lily said, her voice echoing slightly in the virtual space. Let's find the ghost. Together, they set off towards the ominous coordinates, their path fraught with danger and uncertainty. The digital shadows of the neoscape loomed around them, but they pressed on, driven by a singular purpose, to uncover the truth and bring justice to those who had vanished into the darkness. The VR arcade was a chaotic sensory overload, a bustling hub where people from all walks of life plugged into the neoscape. Neon lights and digital displays painted the arcade in a kaleidoscope of colors, while the low hum of servers and the chatter of virtual avatars created a cacophony of sound. Jack and Lily, equipped with their VR gear, entered the arcade, their physical bodies standing amidst the crowded rows of VR pods. They activated their neural interfaces and jacked into the neoscape, the transition seamless as their consciousnesses merged with the digital realm. In an instant, they found themselves standing in the midst of a neon-drenched dreamscape. Towering digital structures stretched toward the simulated sky, while holographic avatars flitted through the air like ethereal specters. The air was alive with the pulse of data and the distant echoes of virtual conversations. Lily brought up the map of the neoscape, their coordinates glowing in the corner of her HUD. This way, she said, her voice tinged with determination. They navigated through the bustling digital city, dodging through crowds of avatars and darting between towering skyscrapers that seemed to stretch endlessly into the distance. Jack's cybernetic eye scanned their surroundings, alert for any signs of danger. As they ventured deeper into the digital labyrinth, they encountered virtual thugs, malicious programs designed to disrupt and attack intruders. Lily engaged her hacking skills, unleashing countermeasures and digital traps to neutralize their adversaries. Jack, with his combat experience, fended off the physical manifestations of the AI threats, his movements fluid and precise in the virtual environment. The journey through the neoscape was treacherous. Rogue AI programs, resembling twisted amalgamations of code and malevolent intent, ambushed them at every turn. Lily's expertise kept them one step ahead, hacking into security systems and rerouting their path through hidden alleys and darkened backstreets. Finally, they arrived at the coordinates marked on Lily's map. Before them stood a digital fortress, its walls pulsing with a malevolent energy that seemed to emanate from within. The structure loomed over them, a testament to the ghost's influence within the neoscape. "We're here," Lily said, her voice tense with anticipation. This is where he's been operating. Jack nodded, his grip tightening on his virtual weapons. Let's finish this. They approached the fortress, steeling themselves for what lay ahead. The digital defenses intensified, throwing everything they had at the intruders. Lily's fingers danced over her interface, breaching firewalls and disarming traps with precision. Jack fought off waves of virtual guards, his movements a deadly ballet of combat prowess and cybernetic enhancements. Inside the fortress, they uncovered a hidden chamber, the air thick with the stench of decay and the metallic tang of fresh blood. Rows of operating tables stood empty, their surfaces stained with the remnants of twisted experiments. Screens flickered with images of Oliver Kensington and countless others, their faces twisted in agony as they underwent horrific cybernetic enhancements against their will. Lily gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "Oh my God!" Jack's jaw clenched, his eyes scanning the scene with a mix of rage and sorrow. "We need to find him. Now." They pressed deeper into the fortress, their determination unwavering. The halls echoed with the distant hum of machinery and the faint whispers of tortured souls trapped within the digital nightmare. As they rounded a corner, they came face to face with the ghost, a shadowy figure cloaked in darkness, his eyes glowing with a malevolent intensity. He stood before them, a digital manifestation of evil and corruption. "So, you've come to challenge me," the ghost hissed, his voice a blend of mechanical distortion and cruel amusement. "How quaint." Jack stepped forward, his voice cold and steady. "You're done hurting people. This ends now." The ghost chuckled, a sound that sent shivers down their spines. "You think you can stop me? In this realm, I am a god. Your efforts are meaningless." Lily's fingers flew over her interface, launching a barrage of digital attacks against the ghost's defenses. Jack moved with precision and speed, closing the distance between them. The battle raged, a clash of wills and technology, as they fought for justice amidst the virtual chaos. With a final surge of determination, they overwhelmed the ghost's defenses, exposing his true identity and disabling his malicious operations within the neoscape. The fortress began to collapse around them, the digital walls crumbling into cascades of code and light. They found Oliver Kensington, battered and broken but alive, amidst the wreckage of the ghost's operation. Lily quickly began the process of extracting him from the neoscape, her skills as a hacker guiding them through the final steps of their mission. As they emerged from the VR pods in the arcade, Jack and Lily exchanged a weary but triumphant glance. They had stopped the ghost and rescued Oliver Kensington from his clutches. Justice had been served, but the scars of their ordeal would linger. "We did it," Lily said, her voice filled with relief. Jack nodded, a small smile crossing his lips. "Yeah, we did." They left the arcade, the virtual world of the neoscape fading into the background as they stepped out into the cool night air of the real world. The city sprawled around them, alive with the vibrant energy of a new day dawning. But for Jack and Lily, their journey was far from over. They had faced darkness in its most twisted form, but they had emerged stronger, united in their resolve to protect the innocent and bring justice to those who sought to exploit the vulnerable. As they walked into the sunrise, their steps echoing with the weight of their experiences, they knew that their fight against the shadows would continue. But for now, they allowed themselves a moment of peace, knowing that they had made a difference in the world, a world where justice and truth could prevail. Deep within the neoscape, far from the neon-drenched streets and bustling virtual arcades, Jack and Lily discovered a hidden chamber pulsating with an ominous energy. The air was heavy with the stench of fear and desperation, the walls flickering with ethereal light as they cautiously entered. "This place," Lily murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's horrifying." Jack nodded grimly, his cybernetic eye scanning the surroundings for any signs of danger. The chamber was a labyrinth of digital terminals and pulsating servers, each one containing a trapped consciousness, avatars of people who had vanished without a trace in the real world. Lily approached one of the terminals, her fingers hovering over the interface as she accessed the data. The screen flickered to life, revealing a nightmarish scene. A digital replica of a person, their form contorted in agony as they underwent twisted experiments. "Oh God," Lily gasped, her hand covering her mouth. They're trapped, digitized, and subjected to unspeakable horrors. Jack's jaw tightened, his fists clenched in anger. Who would do this? And why? Lily continued to sift through the data, uncovering fragments of conversations and encrypted messages. There's a client, she said, her voice trembling. Someone powerful. They're using these poor souls as test subjects, experimenting with their minds and bodies. Jack's mind raced. The ghost. He was just a pawn. Someone else is pulling the strings. Lily nodded, her eyes scanning the room for any clue that could lead them to the mastermind behind this digital nightmare. We need to find out who's behind this and stop them. These people, they don't deserve this. As they delved deeper into the chamber, they discovered more terminals, each one containing another tragic story of pain and suffering. The digital avatars whispered faint pleas for help, their faces etched with fear and despair. Suddenly, a holographic projection flickered to life in the center of the chamber. A figure cloaked in darkness, their voice echoing with a chilling certainty. "You've come far, but you cannot stop what has been set in motion," the voice intoned, sending a shiver down their spines. "The experiments will continue. The darkness will consume." Jack clenched his teeth, his resolve hardening. "We'll see about that." Lily accessed the projection, tracing its origin to a remote server hidden deep within the Neoscape's code. "I've got a location. It's here, within the Neoscape." They exchanged a determined glance, knowing that their next move would determine the fate of those trapped in this digital hell. With a shared nod, they set off towards the location, navigating through the virtual labyrinth with a renewed sense of purpose. As they approached the server, the chamber grew darker, the air thick with malevolent energy. They found themselves standing before a massive digital vault, its intricate encryption pulsing with an otherworldly glow. Lily cracked her knuckles, her fingers dancing over the terminal as she bypassed the security protocols. The vault opened with a soft click, revealing a hidden server room bathed in an eerie blue light. Inside, they found the mastermind, a shadowy figure, their back turned as they manipulated the controls with cold precision. The screens around them displayed rows of digital avatars, their forms writhing in pain as the experiments continued. "You've come too far," the figure said, their voice devoid of emotion. "This is my domain now." Jack stepped forward, his voice hard and unwavering. "Who are you? What do you want?" The figure turned to face them, revealing a face twisted with malice and power. "I am the architect," they said, their voice a blend of triumph and madness. "And this is my masterpiece." Lily's eyes widened in realization. "You're the one behind the disappearances, the experiments." The architect nodded, a cruel smile crossing their lips. "Indeed. And now, you will join them." With a flick of their hand, the architect unleashed a barrage of digital defenses. Rogue AI programs and virtual guards materialized around them, their weapons aimed with deadly precision. Jack and Lily fought back, their skills as a team tested to their limits. Jack engaged the virtual guards, his movements precise and calculated. Lily countered the rogue AI programs, her hacking skills unleashing a storm of digital counterattacks. As the battle raged, the architect's defenses began to falter. Lily seized the opportunity, her fingers flying over the terminal as she disabled the mastermind's controls. The screens around them flickered and died, the avatars of the trapped victims fading into digital oblivion. With a final surge of determination, Jack confronted the architect, their fists clashing in a furious melee. The architect fought back with a desperate ferocity, but Jack's cybernetic enhancements gave him the edge. In a final, decisive blow, Jack disabled the architect's avatar, their digital form dissipating into nothingness. The chamber grew still, the malevolent energy dissipating as the threat was neutralized. Lily breathed a sigh of relief, her hands trembling with exhaustion. "It's over." Jack nodded, his expression solemn. "But the damage, it's done." Together, they deactivated the servers, freeing the trapped avatars and erasing the architect's digital influence from the Neoscape. The chamber fell silent, the air heavy with the weight of their victory and the lingering sorrow of those lost. As they left the hidden chamber, Jack and Lily knew that their journey was far from over. The battle against darkness in the digital realm had taken its toll, but they had emerged victorious, united in their determination to protect the innocent and expose those who sought to exploit the vulnerable. As they walked away, their steps echoing in the digital silence, they knew that they had made a difference that would ripple through the virtual and real worlds alike. Back in the real world, Jack and Lily regrouped in Lily's dimly lit hacker den, their faces grim with determination. The weight of their recent discoveries hung heavy in the air. The plight of the trapped minds in the neoscape, the sinister operations of the ghost, and the revelation of the architect's malevolent influence. "We need to stop the ghost," Jack said, his voice low and resolute. "And we need to free those trapped minds." Lily nodded, her fingers tapping on the keyboard as she brought up a holographic map of the city. "I've traced the ghost's last known location. He's operating out of an abandoned data center on the edge of the industrial district." Jack studied the map, his cybernetic eye analyzing the details. "Let's go. Time to end this." They geared up, Lily checking her equipment while Jack ensured his cybernetic enhancements were fully operational. The night air was cool and crisp as they made their way to the edge of the city, the distant glow of neon lights illuminating their path. They arrived at the abandoned data center, a looming, decrepit building swallowed by darkness and neglect. The wind howled through broken windows, and the air was thick with the scent of rust and decay. They knew the ghost was inside, his presence a dark stain on the city. Jack and Lily entered cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the empty corridors. The building was a maze of deserted offices and dusty server rooms, the silence broken only by the faint hum of old machinery and the occasional drip of water. Suddenly, they heard a noise, a distant clatter followed by the sound of hurried footsteps. Jack and Lily exchanged a glance, their senses on high alert. They gave chase, racing up flights of stairs and across crumbling catwalks, their adrenaline fueling their pursuit. They burst onto the rooftop, the city sprawling below them in a sea of twinkling lights. The ghost stood at the edge, his silhouette a stark contrast against the night sky. He turned to face them, his expression hidden beneath the shadows of his hood. "So, you've come," the ghost said, his voice a cold whisper. "But you're too late." Jack stepped forward, his voice hard and unwavering. "It ends here, ghost. We know what you've been doing." The ghost chuckled, a sound that sent a chill down their spines. "You know nothing. These minds belong to me now, forever trapped in my digital domain." Lily's fingers danced over her interface, launching a barrage of digital attacks against the ghost's defenses. Jack moved with precision and speed, closing the distance between them. The ghost fought back with a desperate ferocity, but Jack's combat skills and cybernetic enhancements gave him the edge. The chase led them across the rooftop, leaping over gaps and ducking beneath ventilation ducts. The ghost's footsteps echoed behind them, always just out of reach. As they neared the edge of the rooftop, the ghost made a desperate leap to another building. Jack followed suit, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to clear the gap with ease. Lily, not to be outdone, activated her grappling hook and swung across, her landing perfect despite the height. They cornered the ghost in an alleyway, their breath misting in the cool night air. The ghost turned to face them, his back against a brick wall. "It's over," Jack said, his voice steady. The ghost's hood fell back, revealing a face twisted with malice and desperation. "You can't stop me," he hissed. "I am the future. I am freedom." Lily stepped forward, her voice firm. "No, you're a monster, and we're here to put an end to your reign of terror." With a surge of determination, they closed in on the ghost. Jack disabled his cybernetic enhancements, opting for a more personal approach. Lily stood ready with her hacking device, poised to dismantle the ghost's digital defenses. In a final, decisive blow, Jack subdued the ghost, his combat training and cybernetic enhancements giving him the edge. Lily disabled the ghost's digital defenses, her expertise as a hacker neutralizing the ghost's digital defenses. As the dust settled, they stood victorious. The ghost was apprehended. The ghost's fortified hideout loomed before Jack and Lily, a twisted monument to cybernetic technology. The building was a labyrinth of steel and concrete, its walls lined with surveillance cameras and guarded by augmented thugs. Inside, the air was thick with the hum of machinery and the faint scent of ozone. Jack and Lily approached cautiously, their steps silent against the cold, hard floor. They moved through the shadows, their presence masked by the dim light of flickering screens and blinking status lights. They reached the main chamber, a vast, open space filled with rows of operating tables and high-tech equipment. The Ghost's augmented thugs patrolled the area, their cybernetic enhancements gleaming in the low light. "We need to find the Ghost and shut down his operation," Jack said, his voice low but determined. Lily nodded, her fingers itching to get to work. "I'll see what I can do to disable their security systems and create a distraction." Jack crept forward, his cybernetic eye scanning the area for threats. Suddenly, an alarm blared, and the thugs turned towards them, weapons raised. "It's them!" one of the thugs shouted, pointing at Jack and Lily. Without hesitation, the thugs charged. Jack's cybernetic enhancements whirred to life as he engaged the first thug, his movements swift and precise. The thug swung a cybernetic-enhanced fist, but Jack ducked and countered with a powerful blow, sending the thug crashing into a nearby table. Meanwhile, Lily ducked behind a console, her fingers flying over her hacking device. She accessed the building's security systems, bypassing firewalls and disabling alarms. With a few quick keystrokes, she activated the facility's emergency lights and unlocked the doors, creating chaos and confusion among the Ghost thugs. The room erupted into chaos. Thugs stumbled in the darkness, their augmented vision momentarily disrupted. Jack took advantage of the distraction, disarming another thug with a swift kick and a punch. Lily's quick thinking continued to disable security systems, creating a path through the fortified room. The Ghost's surgical chamber was a grotesque display of wires and flickering lights, a twisted amalgamation of cybernetic technology and human suffering. Jack and Lily pressed forward, their determination unwavering as they entered the heart of the Ghost's operation. Rows of operating tables lined the chamber, each one occupied by a victim. People who had been forcibly digitized, their consciousness trapped in a nightmarish limbo of wires and algorithms. Screens flickered with images of their torment, their bodies contorted and wired into the machinery that surrounded them. "There he is," Lily whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of the machinery. The Ghost stood at the center of the chamber, his back turned to them as he manipulated the controls with cold precision. Jack stepped forward, his voice hard and resolute. "It ends here, Ghost. We know what you've been doing." The Ghost turned to face them, his expression hidden beneath the shadows of his hood. "You fools," he hissed, his voice tinged with desperation. "You think you can stop this? The future belongs to us, the ones who control the digital realm." Lily's fingers danced over her interface, launching a barrage of digital attacks against the Ghost defenses. Jack moved with precision and speed, closing the distance between them. The Ghost fought back with a desperate ferocity, but Jack's combat skills and cybernetic enhancements gave him the edge. In a final, decisive blow, Jack subdued the Ghost, his combat training and cybernetic enhancements proving superior. Lily seized the opportunity, her fingers flying over the terminal as she disabled the Ghost's controls. The screens around them flickered and died, the avatars of the trapped victims fading into digital oblivion. With a surge of determination, Lily transmitted a program she had prepared, a program designed to reverse the digitization process and free the trapped minds. The machinery hummed with newfound energy, the wires retracting as the victims' bodies slumped to the ground, their consciousness returning to their physical forms. As the dust settled, Jack and Lily stood victorious. The Ghost was apprehended, and the victims were free. The chamber fell silent, the air heavy with the weight of their victory and the lingering sorrow of those lost. Lily approached the nearest victim, her voice gentle as she helped them to their feet. "It's over now. You're safe." Jack turned to the Ghost, who lay defeated on the cold, hard floor. "Who's behind this? Who's pulling the strings?" The Ghost chuckled weakly, blood trickling from his lips. It's a powerful corporation. They wanted to digitize human consciousness for profit. They're the ones you should fear." Jack's jaw tightened, his fists clenched in anger. "We'll find them. And we'll stop them. Lily nodded, her voice firm. We'll make sure no one else suffers like this. With the ghost apprehended and the victims rescued, Jack and Lily left the chamber, their steps echoing in the silence. They knew that their fight was far from over, that the battle against darkness in the digital realm had taken its toll. But as they walked away, their steps echoing in the digital silence, they knew that they had made a difference. They had stopped the ghost and exposed the corruption that threatened the innocent. Together, they walked into the sunrise, their journey continuing. A journey where justice and truth would prevail, and where they would continue to protect the innocent and expose those who sought to exploit the vulnerable. Back in the neoscape, the victims' digital forms began to coalesce, their consciousnesses slowly returning from the nightmarish digital limbo where they had been trapped. The virtual environment shimmered with a soft, ethereal light as the rescued individuals regained their sense of self. One by one, they emerged from the digital haze, their avatars materializing with hesitant steps and bewildered expressions. They looked around in wonder, disbelief mixing with relief as they realized they were no longer bound by the confines of the ghost's twisted experiments. Among them was Oliver Kensington, his face etched with gratitude as he reunited with his wife, Miss Kensington. Tears streamed down her face as she embraced him, their reunion a bittersweet moment amidst the digital landscape. Jack and Lily stood nearby, their hearts heavy but hopeful. They watched as the victims slowly adjusted to their newfound freedom, their faces reflecting a mix of emotions, gratitude, confusion, and lingering trauma from their harrowing ordeal. "It's really over," Lily said softly, her voice tinged with emotion. Jack nodded, his gaze lingering on the rescued individuals. "They're safe now. That's what matters." As the rescued individuals began to stabilize, their avatars solidifying in the virtual environment, news of the ghost's operation spread like wildfire through the neoscape. Rumors and whispers echoed through the digital city, spreading the tale of their rescue and the exposure of the corporation's corruption. In the real world, the news of the operation's exposure threw the city into turmoil. Media outlets broadcasted the shocking revelations, exposing the corporation's involvement in the illegal digitization experiments. Public outrage erupted, protests forming in the streets as citizens demanded justice for the victims and accountability for those responsible. The corporation's stocks plummeted, their executives facing scrutiny and legal consequences for their actions. Investigations were launched, uncovering a web of corruption and greed that stretched far beyond the ghost's hideout. But amidst the chaos and turmoil, there was hope. Jack and Lily's bravery and determination had brought light to the darkness, exposing the truth and ensuring that those who had been wronged would receive justice. As Jack and Lily watched the city react to the news, they knew that their journey was far from over. But for now, they allowed themselves a moment of peace, knowing that they had made a difference that would resonate through the virtual and real worlds alike. Together, they walked away from the digital city, their steps echoing in the silence. They knew that their fight against the shadows would continue, but for now, they allowed themselves a moment of respite, a moment to savor their hard-won victory and to hope for a brighter future. Jack's apartment was a refuge from the neon-lit chaos outside, the city's shadows creeping in through the blinds as if seeking solace. The glow painted an uneasy light on his face as he sat in his favorite armchair, nursing a bottle of whiskey, the same bottle he had kept through countless sleepless nights and countless battles fought. Lily entered quietly, her presence a welcome interruption to the brooding silence. There was a hint of a smile playing on her lips, a rare moment of relief amidst the constant tension of their lives. She walked over to Jack, her footsteps muffled against the threadbare carpet. "Hey," she said softly, her voice a comforting presence in the dimly lit room. Jack looked up, his one good eye reflecting the neon light. "Hey," he replied, his voice gruff but filled with unspoken gratitude. Before they could say more, a knock echoed through the apartment. Miss Kensington entered, her expression a mix of relief and eternal gratitude. She approached them, tears of joy in her eyes, and embraced both Jack and Lily, her thanks overflowing. "I can't thank you enough," Miss Kensington said, her voice wavering with emotion. "You saved my husband. You saved us." Lily smiled warmly, her heart swelling with a sense of purpose. "We're just glad we could help." As they sat together, they watched the news report on the corporation's downfall, the scandal rocking the city, executives being led away in handcuffs, and promises of justice echoing through the airwaves. Jack took a swig from his bottle, the liquid burning his throat as he watched the screen with a glint of determination in his eye. The case was closed, but the neon shadows of the city still held many secrets, waiting to be unveiled. They knew their work wasn't finished. There were still battles to be fought, injustices to be exposed, and lives to be saved. As the news continued to unfold, they shared a moment of silent camaraderie, their thoughts unspoken but understood. Together, they would face whatever darkness lay ahead, their bond forged in the crucible of their shared experiences. The neon glow outside flickered, casting long shadows that danced across the walls. But inside Jack's apartment, amidst the quiet resolve and unspoken promises, there was a glimmer of hope. A hope that, together, they could make a difference in a city where shadows and secrets intertwined with the pulse of neon-lit streets. We would appreciate it if you would be so kind to like and subscribe. Comment below. We'd love to hear your fan theories in the comments.